It's 11 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, and I walk into my living room, and there she is, my Filipina wife, sound asleep on the sofa. Fan going, TV still playing, dead to the world at 11 in the morning. And my first month here, I'll be honest with you, I stood in that doorway and I judged her. I did. I thought, there it is. There's the story everybody warned me about. And then I found out what time she gets up. 4:30 every morning, market at 5, whole house fed by 8. And I had to eat that judgment for breakfast, which is about how this entire marriage has gone. Me being sure I'm right and then finding out. But don't you go thinking this is one of those videos where the old guy tells you everything is perfect in paradise. It is not perfect. I married my wife here in the Philippines when I was 78 years old. I've been married 2 years now. And there are things about this marriage that drive me absolutely up the wall. Things nobody, and I mean nobody, warned me about before I signed up. 7 of them to be exact. I'm going to give you all 7, with the details, including the fights, because you deserve the truth and not the brochure. And I'll warn you now, the last one on the list is the one that actually hurt. So stay with me. All right, real quick, so you know who's complaining at you. My name is Larry, 80 years old, 41 years a machinist in a tool and die shop in Ohio, same bench most of my life. Widowed 6 years ago. Ended up out here for reasons I've talked about before. Met a woman at the market who laughed at my Tagalog and married her at 78. Her name stays off the internet. She didn't sign up for this, I did. Everything else is fair game. Here we go. Number 1. Nobody warned me that I would never be on time for anything ever again for the rest of my natural life. I am a machinist, 41 years. If the shop opened at 7, I was at my bench at 6:40. Time, to me, is a number you either hit or you don't. And then I married into a country that runs on something they cheerfully call Filipino time, which means the time on the invitation is not the time. It is not related to the time. The first family birthday party, I had us there 5 minutes early, like a functioning adult. Empty house. Food not started. Grandmother still in her house dress looking at me like I'd escaped from somewhere. We waited an hour and a half for her family to arrive at their own party, and my wife was not embarrassed because nobody was embarrassed, because apparently I was the crazy one. 2 years in, this has not improved. We have missed the start of every movie we have ever gone to. I have sat in the truck, engine running, for 25 minutes, while she says 5 minutes na lang, which means 5 more minutes, which means nothing at all. It's just a sound she makes. I once told her the party started an hour earlier than it did, thinking I'd outsmart the whole system. We were still late, and to this day I cannot explain to you how. I've stopped fighting it. I bring a book now. I'm on chapter 40. That's not a joke, I counted. Number 2. Nobody warned me that my Filipina wife is physically incapable of cooking for 2 people. The smallest amount of food this woman can produce is approximately 1 battalion. I say, honey, it's just us tonight. And out comes a pot of rice the size of a truck tire, adobo for 9, pancit for 12, and a soup in case the adobo for 9 runs short. And here's the part that got under my skin. There are no leftovers, ever. Because that food is not for us. That food is for whoever shows up, and somebody always shows up. A cousin, a neighbor, some kid from down the street who has a supernatural sense for exactly when the pancit is done. My grocery bill looks like I'm running a small restaurant because functionally I am. I lost the argument about this in month 2, and I've lost every rematch since. My diet, by the way, the one my doctor in Ohio gave me, gone, deceased. You cannot portion control in a house where the kitchen never closes. The only thing I'll say on the other side of the ledger, and I'll say it fast, in Ohio I went 3 weeks without talking to my neighbor. Here my house has people in it most days, and I know all their names. I'm still mad about the grocery bill. Both things are true. Number 3, the family and the money. This is the one you actually clicked for, so let's do it properly, including the part where it caused real fights. Nobody warned me that when you marry a Filipina, you are not marrying one woman. You are marrying an entire extended family, and that family helps each other with money, openly, constantly, as a way of life. Money goes to her mother, school money for a nephew, a roof after a typhoon. And the first time a cousin I had never met asked for help with a hospital bill, I did not handle it well. I'm being polite. I blew my stack. We had a real fight, the kind with a slammed door in it, because where I come from, grown people handle their own bills, and where she comes from, family is the insurance, and neither of us could believe how the other one saw it. That was not a cute cultural moment. That was 2 months of friction, and if you're considering this life, you should know it's coming for you too. What fixed it wasn't romance, it was rules. We sat down like two adults doing a budget. We agreed what we help with, what we don't, and that nothing leaves this house without a conversation first. Since then, mostly peace. I say mostly, because every few months something tests the fence, and I have learned that no in this house is a team sport. It goes through her, and she is better at delivering it than I ever was. And the other side of the ledger, quickly, because it's real. When I was flat on my back with dengue last year, that same family moved in and took care of me like I was one of their own, because as far as they're concerned, I am. The family that shares your wallet shares everything else too. I'm still not fully used to either half of that. Number 4, karaoke. They call it videoke here. There is a machine in my house and nobody warned me, and I want to speak now directly to whoever invented the scoring system on that machine, because you have ruined my Saturdays, sir. My wife, who is a quiet and gentle woman in every other department, becomes Celine Dion approximately every Saturday night, and so does her sister, and so does the neighbor, and the neighbor's cousin, and the machine has one volume, which is all of it. This does not end at a reasonable hour. I have been woken at 1 in the morning on a Tuesday by My Heart Will Go On, performed with full commitment by people I am related to by marriage. I hid the microphone once, one time. I got the silent treatment for 2 days, and the microphone reappeared with a second microphone, so now there are 2, so that went well. And the thing nobody warns you about is they will not let you sit it out. They hand the microphone to the old white guy every single time, and you cannot refuse. It's practically a law here. So yes, I, Larry, 80 years old, of Youngstown, Ohio, have a regular Saturday number now. It's my way. My scores are climbing. I hate how much that pleases me. Number 5. Nobody warned me that I would never be unsupervised again. And I mean never. And I want you to understand, I was a man who lived alone for 6 years. Nobody's business. Ate over the sink. Came and went like a ghost. Those days are over, permanently. I cannot leave this house without a hearing. Where are you going? The hardware store. Which one? The one by the market. Why? Because I need bolts. What kind of bolts? I don't know yet, honey. That's why I'm going. Did you eat? Bring your hat. Text me when you get there. It is a 12-minute drive. She reorganized my toolbox. My toolbox. 40 years I've kept that box one way. And I came out one morning and everything was clean and arranged by size, and I had to pretend to be grateful while privately mourning. If I cough twice, there is a ginger thing boiling on the stove before the third cough, and I will be drinking it whether I want it or not. There is no vote. For a solid year, this chafed on me, and some days it still does. A man is entitled to buy bolts in peace. And then there's days like the one where I was halfway to the market and realized my hat was already on my head because she'd put it there on my way out the door, and I hadn't even noticed. And I had to stand there on the road for a second and collect myself. 6 years, nobody checked on me. Now somebody checks on me too much. I complain about it every week. I would not survive going back. Moving on. Number 6. Church and Christmas. Nobody warned me that Sunday is not a suggestion here. It is the spine of the entire week, and my sleeping-in days died on my wedding day. Up at dawn, pressed shirt, whole family, every week, plus saints' days I cannot keep track of, plus prayers before meals, even when the meal is one banana. And Christmas, my friends, nobody on this earth warned me about Filipino Christmas. It starts in September. September 1st, the malls start the carols, and they do not stop for 4 months. And by the second week of October, I have heard Jose Marie Chan more times than I heard my own mother's voice in my whole childhood. And if you live here, you'll learn exactly what that sentence means. I was never a big church man. She's never once pushed me. But a man drives his wife to church, so I go, and I'll admit just one thing about it, and then we're moving on. There is something about standing in a packed, hot church with the fans going, next to a woman who thanks God for you out loud by name, that will quiet a man down. I still think September is too early for carols. I will die thinking that. And number 7, the last one, and the one that actually hurt for a while, so I'll tell it straight. Nobody warned me that my wife would never say I love you, not the American way anyway. Where it ends every phone call, love you too, bye, easy as breathing. In 2 years of marriage, I can count the times she said those words in English on my 2 hands. And the first year, I'm telling you, it got to me. I'd say it, and she'd smile and pat my arm and go back to what she was doing, and I would stand there like a teenager wondering what I did wrong. I picked a fight about it once. An actual argument, me, a grown man, demanding words. She just looked at me, confused, and then she pointed at the fruit she'd cut up and left at my chair, at my shirts drying on the line, washed by hand, at the rice already made for people who might come by. And she said, "What do you call all that?" And I didn't have an answer. Because here's what nobody explained to me, and it took me a year of being quietly hurt to figure out on my own. In this country, by and large, love is not a word. It's a verb. It's have you eaten, which I finally understood is I love you. It just shows up wearing work clothes. I spent 6 years in Ohio hearing love you at the end of phone calls from people I never saw. Now I get maybe 3 I love yous a year, and I have never once, not for a single day, wondered whether I'm loved. Figure that one out. Took me long enough. Now the honest section, because those 7 were the aggravations and a couple of them dressed up as jokes. But a man considering this life deserves the warnings with no jokes on them. 1, the judgment never stops. My own son didn't speak to me for months over this. That's its own video, and it's coming. And strangers will look at you too and do arithmetic in their heads forever. Make peace with that before you fly, not after. 2, if you come here running from loneliness instead of toward a life, the loneliness ships free and beats you here. A woman is not a repair job for your own house. Fix what's yours first. 3, the money fight from number 3 is coming for you, guaranteed. So have the budget conversation early, out loud, like adults, or it will have you at a worse time. And 4, there are bad actors here like everywhere on earth, and a lonely man with a pension who moves fast and asks no questions is a mark here, same as in Florida. Move slow, meet the family, let a year do its work. A good woman is not in a hurry. Anybody in a hurry about your money is telling you who they are. Homework. If this life is turning over in your head, don't propose to anybody. Don't wire money to anybody. Just visit. 3 weeks. Eat the food. Get rained on. Take the microphone when they hand it to you, because they will. And find the men like me at the cafes in the morning. We'll tell you the truth for free, complaints included. And tell me in the comments. Those of you married to a Filipina, what's your number 8? What's the thing that drives you up the wall that nobody warned you about? I read everyone, usually with my coffee, while somebody watches me drink it and asks if I've eaten. You'll have to speak up to beat the karaoke story, but I know some of you can. Next time, the hard one. What happened when my kids in Ohio found out I was getting married? My son's exact words on the phone, the 8 months of silence, and the thing my wife did without telling me that ended it. Hardest story I've got, best ending I've got, next week. Until then, complain about your people out loud and love them anyway. That's the whole system over here. And I'm telling you, it works. This is Larry. Thanks for sitting with me.